this is all about your message and your marketing.
Yeah.
It might start with a book, but now it's on his website, on his TV, on his YouTube, on everywhere. And we get to sit back and go, how cool. I was a small part of it.
No.
And I'm helping his business grow, and he's serving lots of people. And I just had the privilege of helping him create the book and the message. That's what we get to do. And that's what fires us up, because the message in the book has to be consistent with all of your marketing. Otherwise, you're
Hey, everybody, and welcome back. It is yet another week, and another week means another episode of Leaders Talk, and another episode of Leaders Talk means another episode of 30 minutes of myself, Andrew Dupe. I'm the Chief Relationship Officer here at Leaders Press, and today I have with me someone who is a peer with us in this business. I have the Paperback Expert, Michael Delon. Michael, welcome. We have talked many times without an audience, but now we get to talk with an audience.
That's awesome. Andrew's going to be
to them as we entertain each other.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a great conversation, and I'm glad some people are joining us.
Wonderful. Well, Michael, let's just go ahead and start out. What is the Paperback Expert? I'm sure people can kind of put two and two together, but I'll let you fill in the rest of the blanks.
Yeah. I tell you what, the easiest thing to do, Andrew, is let me tell my story. It takes about 3 minutes.
Perfect.
I'll start from way back when, and you'll understand what I do, why I do it, and all of that, and we can go from anywhere, okay? So my wife and I, so we're followers of Christ. I've been married since 1990. And the first 5 years of my marriage, Andrew, were like this. I mean, my wife and I are complete opposites, and we just fought and had all kinds of conflict. We both had grown up in church, but nobody ever taught us how to be married. So after 5 years of conflict, we went to a marriage conference by a ministry of Campus Crusade for Christ called Family Life, sat in a ballroom with 1,000 people, and they taught us God's blueprints for marriage. I didn't know we had any. So we got those blueprints, we started applying them, and our marriage started getting better. And this is in the 90s. And at that period of time, I was working in Christian radio sales. So I'd come out to you, Andrew, and I'd say, hey, I can help you grow your business. And what I found out after 2 years is nobody really wanted to buy Christian radio. They wanted to sell their products and services.
Right.
So I had a decision to make. I could get really, really good at selling and learn the techniques and the strategies of selling, or I could get good at marketing. So I chose marketing. I bought the books, went to the conferences, followed the gurus, and learned how to do marketing for small business owners. So my business grew through the 90s as I helped my clients understand marketing, and their business would grow. So at the end of the 1990s, God led us out of the radio station to a startup.com. Now, you remember when Amazon was just getting started? When William Shatner was on the radio talking about the world's largest bookstore? That is when I joined this .com. Some friends of mine started, and I was selling banner ads and websites to car dealerships and things and hospitals who didn't know anything about the internet, right? Well, that company, Andrew, was ahead of its time. That means it went bankrupt. And so after 2 years, I found myself in my house looking up at the ceiling going, God, what am I supposed to do now? And he spoke to my heart. He says, Michael, I want you in a ministry to families, and I want you at Family Life, that ministry that changed our life. I said, wow, okay. So we raised our financial support because we were missionaries, moved from Indiana down to Little Rock, Arkansas, which was the world headquarters of this ministry called Family Life. Thought I'd hit nirvana, man. Why would I ever do anything else? Help build marriages and families. So climbed the corporate ladder, and 6 years later, I was on the leadership team of this ministry. And then they started going through corporate reorganizations. And after the third reorganizational chart was rolled out, my name was no longer on the leadership team. And so they started shuffling me around the ministry to do different things. And that began a 2-year prison term for me when I was in a job that I hated at a ministry I loved. And after 2 years, I've gone home every night just defeated and exhausted. I said, I got to get out of this place. So I prayed. I said, God, what do I do? And he's like, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go help small business owners with marketing because they struggle with it, and I love it. And he said, go. So on January 1st of 2013, I escaped from prison. And I left the ministry, started a marketing consulting firm, and I'd call you and say, Andrew, I can help you grow your business. You'd meet with me. We'd have a great conversation. And somewhere in that talk, you'd say, hey, now, Michael, what have you done for the last few years? Who have you helped? And I say, well, I've helped build marriages and families at Family Life. And you say, Michael, that's honorable. Way to go. Oh, look at the time. I've got another meeting coming right out the door. And I had a hard time getting clients because everybody saw me as a ministry guy, not a marketing guy. And so I said, man, I got to fix this. So I went to my church one day, second floor. I was pacing the hallways back and forth saying, God, how do I help Andrew? Because I know I can. And God gave me this idea to take all of my ideas and strategies and put them in a book. So I did, Andrew. I wrote my first book on marketing back in 2013. Then I would set an appointment with you. I'd mail you a copy of my book. I'd walk into your office a week later, and there it was. My book was on your desk, dog-eared, highlighted, underlined. You'd read my book.
Mhm.
And in that meeting, you'd say, now, Michael, in your book, you said, how do you help me do that? And you hire me. And I started gaining clients. And I thought, this is really cool. Why don't business owners create books? Well, as you know, creating a book's a little challenging, right? So I went to my church. I sat down. I built a spreadsheet, listed every step it took me to create my book. And then we created a process that eliminates all of the steps, where today we help clients like you do create a book without writing a word. And then we teach them how to use their book in their marketing to gain clients, get referrals, and grow their revenue. Whew. That is what I do as the paperback expert.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, it's not exactly the same story as how we ended up where we were, but it's a very similar story, because we found the same way that you did, that when we looked at the market, when we looked at what was going on nowadays, that with the growth of social media, with the increasing presence of everyone in everybody's home, there's so many more ways to get that content, that book, in front of people that weren't there 10 years ago, even. I mean, let alone 20 or 30.
Right. Yeah. And the cool thing is, once you create your book, you've got all this content. Now you can do the social media, the podcast, the YouTube channels, and you don't have to go, oh, what am I going to talk about today? No, you go back to your book and you reiterate the contents that are there, and then you use your book as that lead gen magnet. Say, hey, if you want to know more information, go get a copy of my book at my website. Mm-hmm. And you can do that anywhere. So it centralizes and simplifies your marketing strategy and your message, which helps you become more well-known as the expert in your industry to your audience. It's really simple.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, as you say, though, it's a difficult process. I mean, and that's what I think ends up frightening people when they begin to investigate, even just look into what doing a book is. I mean, what's the first thing they're going to find out when they look it up? It's hard.
It's hard. There's so many
the first thing they're going to hear is the difficulty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really funny, Andrew, because right now, I mean, all of my peers are calling me and saying, Delon, man, ChatGPT, they're going to put you out of business, and AI. And I'm just laughing my way. I'm saying, no, they're not actually, because anybody can sit down and do that. Anybody can sit down and actually get their thoughts out of their head. You know, if you want to type it out, I mean, that's a major, but you can get it there. But how about the flow of thought? How about the voice? How about the formatting? How about the ISB? How about there are dozens of things that go into creating a quality book that actually represents you well, that doesn't diminish your credibility when you hand it to somebody.
Yeah, that's just it. And man, if I had a dime now for every time everybody's talking about ChatGPT, because it's coming out, people are like, this is gonna kill writing, this is gonna kill the podcast and the blogosphere, this is going to replace books. And it's like, you haven't seen from our perspective what it looks like when you have let's say someone that's not like you and I, they're a less than reputable, much cheaper solution that'll say, I'm just going to stitch your transcripts together.
Yeah.
And you see what those books are, and you see how few copies they sell, and you see how poorly they do. And then they wonder, well, why did I only sell 6 copies to my friends? It's about not having a marketable book, isn't it?
It totally is. Yeah. And ChatGPT, in my opinion, it may be around for a long time, but right now it is the next shiny object. Okay. Right. A year and a half ago, everybody told me, Andrew, Clubhouse is the new thing. Everybody's on Clubhouse. Michael, you got to be on Clubhouse or you're going out of business. I'm not on Clubhouse today. I don't even know if Clubhouse is still around.
Yeah, I know. Same with us. Yeah.
It went up, it spiked, and then it kind of went away. I think ChatGPT is kind of that way. It might be. I mean, it's a really cool system for some things, but it's not for writing a book, because you want to communicate yourself through the book. And so anyway, it's really about, when you think about creating a book, you're looking at credibility as a cornerstone marketing tool for your business for life. Because well, it's sacrilegious to throw a book away, Andrew, right? So it's going to be around. It's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And in fact, from everything that we're seeing in every podcast episode that we've done so far, the continued drumbeat here is books are not only not going to be around for, or are not only going to be around for a while, books are in fact becoming more important again.
Yeah.
It's coming back around to where we had a brief period of, in the words of Egon Spengler from Ghostbusters, print is dead. Egon was right for a very short time.
Yeah.
But he's not right today, is he?
No, not really. And it's really funny, Andrew. I cut my teeth in radio. Okay.
Yeah.
Radio, people have been saying for 50 years, radio's dying. Radio's dead. Nobody listens to radio. Really? It's, I can make a very strong case, and I've faced that objection all of my life. But books will always be around. Okay. And one of the things about books is there's a high barrier to entry to create a great book.
Right.
It's easy to create podcasts. It's easy to create videos. It's really easy to create ChatGPT because everybody does it. Guess what? You're going to sound like everybody else. But when you create your book, it's hard. It's like climbing Mount Everest. How many people actually climb and get down Mount Everest, right? High barrier to entry. And I think that's one reason books are always going to be around, and why when you're an author, you gain the instant credibility in the mind of your audience that you're different from all of your peers because they haven't taken that step.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And the book also, I mean, it's not like you have to think of, well, I should do blogging and podcasting, all that instead of a book. No, you have to have the book as parts of those things.
It's absolutely a part of those things. And those things can play into and out of your book, right? It's really, it's the centralized library of your message. It's how do you communicate with your clients? What problems are you solving? What's your process? Who have you helped? And really, really, really important is, who are you? What is your story that connects with people? Tell me that, because here's the deal, Andrew. We read books one-on-one.
Right.
All right. Everybody I know in business is just dying and spending hundreds of dollars on marketing to try to get a Zoom meeting with somebody for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
My question is, why would that Zoom meeting be the first time they ever get any information from you, which is usually what happens? Mm-hmm. That's stupid. Mm-hmm. When somebody connects with me, they got videos, they've got blogs, they've got emails, they get books, they get other things, so that by the time we actually get on a Zoom call, it's like a fourth or fifth call. They know me, they know my process, they understand our values, our system. Now we can talk about you, and are we a good fit, and is this a good next step for you? It changes the dynamic, and because I'm not waiting for that. So I use my book in my pre-sales funnel. Yeah. I use a book in the post-sales funnel, and I use my book to gain partners for my business. It's hard to do that with a blog post.
I know. Well, I mean, that's why we're talking.
Totally. Totally. We are, I mean,
directly. Yeah.
Yeah. We're like we're pumping water into the pond to raise the level, to go, whether you use Andrew's company, my company, or do it yourself the right way. Having a book puts you in a different category in the mind of your audience and will expand your business year after year after year after year after year. There are so many things you can do, but getting it done is the hard part. And that's really why our companies exist, is to help our clients. Who was it? Dan Sullivan, strategic coach. One of his most popular books now is Who, Not How. Right. Meaning, at the end of the day, who can do what you need done versus you trying to figure out how to get it done. Hire experts to do what they do so that you can stay focused on what you do best. It's a time versus money issue. If you got more money than time, then you probably should hire Andrew or me. If you got more time than money, well, maybe a different option is better for you.
Right.
What are you best at? Do what you're best at.
Yeah. And what I have a lot of our authors that look at it, some that have come through with us, they look at it, I think, correctly from a perspective of what I am doing with this book is that I am doing what we used to call pre-framing.
Yes.
It's still pre-framing. It's still the concept of making sure that before anybody ever gets in front of you to do business with you, that they are educated.
Yep.
You're eliminating the problem of the tire kicker
Absolutely.
that is just there for the educational purpose, that doesn't know anything about you, that then neither of you are able to work together. You waste your time. And yet it's also, at the same time, it's cultivating those that may not have ever found you otherwise.
That's right. It is so cool. One of the thing that brings a smile to my face, Andrew, believe it or not, is when I have somebody book on my calendar, and then they go through my pre-framing process, videos, books, and things, and then they unbook. They canceled the appointment because I have weeded them out. I rejoice in that because they just saved me 25 minutes. And my time's valuable. I don't want to talk with tire kickers. That's why I've got my book. That's why I've got my funnels. That's why I've got my videos of here's our process. Here are the 5 questions we're going to talk about. Good marketing is what? To attract ideal clients and repel everybody else. That's how you can do that in your book. And then using the content of your book through all of your pre-framing funnels so that you're only talking with people who are preconditioned, that you're my person, and that I think I just need to make sure we're a good fit and answer 2 or 3 questions, and let's go. Right. That's how you grow your business.
Yeah, because I mean, we're not, I don't look at what either one of us is doing as selling a particular product. I mean, it's not like we're selling just an item and we're going to do anything we can to make sure that anybody wants it. I guess what my own book is called Don't Buy the Watch. It's the exact concept that's led. It's like, don't necessarily spend your $50,000 on the expensive Rolex. There might be other things that you can do. That's because with us, it's not about just getting as many people in there as possible and seeing, what sticks on the wall.
Right.
It's about finding the right partner to be able to help them achieve what they are looking to achieve.
Yeah. Oh, without question. Yeah. I tell prospects all the time, if you're looking for somebody who to just publish a book for you, I am not your guy.
Right.
But if you want to grow your business, make an impact in people's lives, communicate your story, and have a platform for the rest of your career, then let's talk. It's a mindset shift that we want to work with serious business owners who have a message to share and who can serve more people. That's what we're helping them do, is just get what's in here in their head, get it out in a tangible form that says, you should listen to me, without pounding our chest and saying, look at me, spotlight's on me. That's not what it's about. It's not what it's about.
Well, Michael, you're then going to run into someone that is going to look at this and they're going to say, well, it sounds like you're almost the idea of marketing this and branding this and putting all of this help and work. Don't you erase my voice in this? I mean, I know the answer. Our business philosophies are so close. I know what you're going to say here. Yeah. What do you say? It's like, I'm just afraid that this is turning into a cookie cutter stamp. It's like, when I watch Bar Rescue and John Taffer turns every single bar into the corporate bar. Right, is that what you're trying to do to my book? Are you trying to install a butt funnel here?
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And the answer is absolutely not, because every book is custom to that author, because we position every author and every book based on your unique story and message. Right. I've got 2 clients in the same city who are, in one act, they're competitors. They do the same thing in the same city, and they're writing completely different books because of their background and their story and how they go about their business. There's enough people in that market to support 2 of them, because there's probably 2,000 of them, right?
Right.
But my guys are going to be unique because we're telling their story. And as you read their books, they come through their books because of the way we speak to write the book. And it's not an AI doing it, right? Because you lose it in AI. And in fact, I can actually prove it now. We had a guy did a podcast. Says, I want to turn my podcast into a book. I'm going to do my podcast. I want to run it through an AI thing, send it to you. You polish it up and let's publish it. So he sent us the first chapter, and we read it. And we've done another book for this guy. And we said, it doesn't have your voice in it. It has your content, but it's not your voice. And so we're having this discussion, and you say, time out. Send me your podcast audio and let our writer go through our process, and let's compare AI to our writer. And that's going to come out next week. I assure you the chapter is going to sound like him.
Yeah.
Because AI doesn't grab your voice. And that's the difference that we bring to the table, Andrew and us, is we capture your voice. Because when you're on video, when you're on a Zoom call, when you're face to face, they're buying you and your DNA and your voice and all of that. That has to be in the book. And that's why people hire me and you, right, Andrew? I mean, that's what we do. That's our magic that takes it to a whole different level.
It's a different way of looking at the same way that we've done business for a long time, because and other podcasts I've already mentioned this. I promise I won't do the 1940s voice again. Not the whole concept of going out and knocking on doors very much was ingrained into the idea of anybody in business that you have to get out there and be physically push your way through the door.
Yeah.
Down to the street level. But the way that the world has changed with now, it is you create the content and you then provide ways for them to find the content and come to you. We can now research and learn everything we want to learn. Like if you want to go out and buy a new car, you don't need to have the salesperson that takes you and walks you through and spends all day telling you about all the things. You go in there and you know what car you want half the time before you even walk onto the lot.
That's right.
And nowadays, that's the same thing with someone looking for business. So it's that same way. You need to have as much education as you can that is available for that prospective buyer that's coming out, that's seeking that, because they're going to find it one way or the other. You want to make sure they find it on the content that you control, correct?
Totally. And here's my challenge to most of my prospects and clients is like, your prospect is researching before they ever book a call with you. Okay. Yeah. Fewer than 3% of the people are in the market today for anything, right? So you've got to be there long term. But number one, they're researching. Go to your competitors' websites and see what the calls to action are. When I hit somebody's website, what is it? It was a website built in the 2000s. So there's stock photo. There's a lot of text. There's no video. And the only call to action is book a call with me now. Book a discovery call. Book a whatever. Why? I'm not ready.
Yeah.
How about get a free copy of my book? How about watch this video sequence? How about listen to my podcast? How are you going about? And all of that content, by the way, comes from your book. When they see that you're a best-selling author, that you have a book, and that everything they do ties back to that same core message, it builds credibility. It's like I love going to the beach. Mm-hmm. You stand on the beach, you look out at the waves, at the ocean, the waves come in, right? But what are the signs on the beach? They don't say, beware of the waves. No, they say, beware of the current. Mm-hmm. Because the current is what you can't see that will kill you. And in marketing, it's that consistency of your message and your presentation that is the current that your prospect understands and begins to trust you because you're consistent. And it starts with your book, your podcast, your message, and how are you presenting yourself? Are you so hungry for business that they can smell it, like the old door knocker, foot in the door guy? Or are you the expert? Are you the brain surgeon per se, who doesn't need the business today, and you're here to educate and help people walk a path until they're ready to buy? And by that time, you're the only game in town because you're the only guy or gal who's been there consistently with a clear message. That's right. How we teach marketing. It's long term.
Yeah, and that's just it. And that's, I think, also that goes back again to the concept of constructing a book. And when there are some of the objections to, I want to surrendering it to that process, when really is the process we've already discovered in this call, is improving the work in many cases, because the conversational mode actually brings out, in many cases, better content. But really what we're trying to do when we build that process of how we construct the book, it's not to make a clone stamp, it's to create consistency within your brand. Because as experts, if you're a coach, you may only know about yourself. I mean, I'm sure you've researched some of your direct competitors, but you know about what you do and you know about your brand, you know about how your brand works. And if you're a business person, you're probably spending all your time on that. But then on our side of things, we see hundreds of coaches, we see hundreds of salesmen, we see hundreds of marketers, we see all kinds of people that come to us to write a book. So we know how to make those books work. So when we're talking about a process, we're really just talking about making sure that this book fits consistently within the rest of your message, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it has to have that consistency. And the beautiful thing about what we get to do is we see so many industries. It's easy for us, Andrew, to look in somebody else's business and go, oh no, you need to go this direction. Right. They are, I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm a marketing guy, right? Yeah. I live and breathe marketing. I have 3 marketing coaches looking at my business because I'm too close to it.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Right. And that's the same thing we do with our clients. They go, okay, I know you want to write a book, but have you thought about this? Have you ever, I had an attorney in Florida, wanted to write a book, right? And we got his story, Andrew, and ended up, he went to college on a baseball scholarship. He was going to the pros as a pitcher, ended up throwing his arm out, killing his whole career. Now he's a personal injury attorney. And he helps people when they've been involved in an accident or whatever. And I said, dude, have you ever told that story of why you do what you do? And he's like, no, who cared? I'm like everybody.
Yeah, I know. Only everyone.
So we told a story. We crafted his book title. Okay. He's a personal injury attorney. When life throws you a curveball, personal injury attorney or baseball player turned injury attorney. And we tell his story to basically, now when he goes on TV, he's like, hey, if life threw you a curveball and you got hit by a truck or whatever, I get it. I've been where you are. And I want to help you walk through the process of healing and getting the results that you really desire, because life threw me a curveball. Why don't you get a free copy of my book, read about me, how I help people. I'd love to serve you. Changed his entire business.
Yeah.
Because we got his story that he couldn't see how he would ever use that in marketing. That, Andrew, is what all of us get to do when we get a client to go, this is all about your message and your marketing.
Yeah.
It might start with a book, but now it's on his website, on his TV, on his YouTube, on everywhere. And we get to sit back and go, how cool. I was a small part of it.
No.
And I'm helping his business grow, and he's serving lots of people. And I just had the privilege of helping him create the book and the message. That's what we get to do. And that's what fires us up, because the message in the book has to be consistent with all of your marketing. Otherwise, you're
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And you're right. I think it gets lost on a lot of people that are very highly business oriented and business minded. They don't see their own selves as something that's of particular interest to a lot of their clientele. And I've seen that in people that I've talked to that have been early in the process, and they've thought that. It's like, well, why me? Why should I write a book? Yeah. And I'm like, you have to. Every time you do that, you're creating your unique story. You're the one that's basically building your unique selling proposition, and you're making that USP now yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we work with a lot of financial advisors, right? And love them or hate them. I say, Dave Ramsey, right? Yeah, everybody knows Dave Ramsey. Well, is he really that smart? No. Well, he's a great marketer. He started out with a radio program and a book. And from there, he's built a, multi-million-dollar organization, right?
Right, exactly.
And they're like, oh, yeah, that's right. And then I go, okay, how about Suze Orman? And they're like, oh, I already hate Suze Orman. I'm like, yeah, well, trust me. If Suze Orman opened a shop down the street from you, Mr. Financial Advisor, do you think she'd kick your butt? Yes. Was she that good of an advisor? No. Then what's the issue? Oh, her marketing. She has books. She has video. She has a consistent message. You can do the same thing.
Yep.
It's not
and there's room for all of us.
There's totally room for all of us. There's total. That's why I'm here, right? We're partners and we're competitors, but we're partners. And it's like, there's so many people who need to do this. Do it the right way. Okay. And I'll go on a dog and pony or my platform here and just say is I've gotten too many books, Andrew, that are self-published, and I can tell they're self-published from the cover and from the time I open up the book. I don't have to read it. I can just look at it and go, okay. And that diminishes your credibility. So if you're serious about this, it will pay you back in spades to connect with Andrew or me or somebody else who knows what they're doing and can really position you properly and be consistent with your message and help your business grow. So I'll shut up.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, how can people find you? How can we could talk for hours? I mean, my gosh, we're already a little over time, and I feel like we've touched the tip of the iceberg.
We did. Yeah. It's a big iceberg.
So how can our listeners find you for more information?
Yeah, paperbackexpert.com. That's the central hub of all things Michael. Paperbackexpert.com.
Wonderful. Paperbackexpert.com, and we invite our listeners to head there and to also consume some of our content that you can see down below with our webinar that we do every week where we talk about this. So perfect, Michael. It's wonderful to have you here. I think we're probably going to speak more in the future.
I think so.
To go on, and we wish you the best in your endeavors.
Thank you, brother. It's a joy to be with you, and we want to partner and help everybody understand the power of being